So how does someone like Mateus Asato come up with those wonderful, sweet-sounding, neo-soul tinged reworkings of a classic rock tune? Well, today I'm going to massively oversimplify how that's done. Now, I say oversimplify because, look, it's a whole genre and there are some tremendous players in that field with a huge knowledge of jazz theory and the ability to insert countless substitutions and improvise their heads off. So, you know, I'm just going to go through half a dozen little cliches, little neo-soul guitar cliches that you can insert into any song that you like and get some of that flavour, have some fun with it. So before we get started, please give me a like and a subscribe and ring that bell and maybe a share if you like what I'm doing here. Share it on your, Reddit thread or something. Okay, so for our purposes today, we're going to use the wonderful Eleanor Rigby Beatles tune that's got basically two chords, E minor and C, and a beautiful melody over that. You know that one? That's it. So that gives us plenty of room to move. It's got a melody that the listener can identify, we can have some fun with, and it's got a very simple chord progression which allows us to really pump it up. So here we go with some cliches. Cliche number one is when we descend from one note to another, particularly if it's a whole tone, instead of just doing that, we can wiggle that first note in and out of the fret. It's basically a quick slide up, quick slide back, and back down. Let's create a little theme, a simple little tune that we can apply some of these cliches to. I'm going to start with a C major 7 chord and a little melody that goes E, D, C, wherever you like to play it. There's our tune. Now we can put our first cliche into that run. So all I'm doing there is E, D, C, but before going back to the C, a quick little flick out of that fret and back in. Now, because we've got two whole tones here, we could do that at the start as well. You might like the sound of it better there. You could put it on both. That's probably overkill. Alright, so let's do that one really slowly a few times so you can join in and try and play it with me. So we're going to do it 4 times. Super slow. We're going to do that little trill on the very first note of the run, the E. So, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go. So obviously the first step would be to play your melody as it stands and then work out if you're going to put some of these flourishes in between. Okay, cliche number 2. We could do the same thing with double stops. So our melody, instead of just being E, D, C, let's add B, A, and G. And let's play them together. 9th fret on the 2 middle strings, 7th fret and 5th fret. There's our melody now. So instead of, now we'll go exactly the same thing, but on 2 strings at once. So I'm starting up here on the 9th fret, back to the 7th fret. And you'll notice I've got my thumb hanging over the top here to mute the top couple of strings as well. So again, 4 times, super slow. 1, 2, 3. Alright, another cliche is to do the same thing after a bend. So let's say this time instead of playing the 3 notes, of our melody. Let's say we're going. So I'm bending into the first note, releasing into the second note, playing the last note. So I've still got the 3-note melody, E, D, C, but I'm bending. Now, what we want to do, bend, same little wiggle, same little trill, little flourish on that same note. All right, let's do that nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Beautiful. Okay, our next cliche is also to do with bends. It's sliding up the neck during a bend. And it's a wonderful little cliche because it catches us unexpected. We've heard notes being bent for many, many years. But what happens if during that bend, all of a sudden, the guitar whizzes up to a different note altogether? So as a little workout for this one, as a little exercise, let's just do 2 bends. Let's do a bend at the 7th fret, a D note, on its way to E. As we're bending, we're going to slide up to the 14th fret, which is an A note. This is on the G string. And bend that up to a B, which is the major 7th. Like that. Really slow. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I love that one. Another little cliche when playing melodies in a neo-soul style is to play fourths. Now, we did some before, made our little melody into fourths. So fourths on a guitar is basically how a guitar is tuned. So if you can play the note on the string directly below your melody note and it sounds in tune and in key, then that's great. If you can do it directly above and that sounds in tune, that's great. Keep in mind the G and B strings are tuned in thirds. So if you do the same there, let's say our melody note is C and I add the 5th fret on the B string, that's actually a third. Doesn't matter, still sounds wonderful. In fact, I'll show you in a second. Generally what I'm speaking about here is using the, so that it'll be that shape on the G and B strings. But what I've found a great way of doing this, you know, we're all pretty familiar with the pentatonic scale, minor or major depending on the context. If you just play that in pairs, yes, there's some thirds in there, but mostly it's fourths, and it works really, really well. Yeah, so that's really just playing 2 strings at once in the C major pentatonic or A minor pentatonic over a C major chord. And the last thing that we quite often see with this style of playing is a rapid fire pentatonic lick straight out of the pentatonic. You use minor or major to suit that part of the song. But look, for this one, there's no real exercise because we all have our own thing that we can play fluently in a pentatonic scale. So maybe you're lightning fast and you can zip, you know, and so that's what you're going to put in there. For someone else, it might be something including hammer-ons. Okay, now I'm going to give you 4 quick cliches to spice up your chords for this style of playing. So number 1 is adding 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, 13ths. So whatever you chord, if it's a major chord, try a major 7th, a major 9th, a major 11th. Yeah, like a major 6th. I love. And same if it's a minor chord, minor 7th, minor 9th. But be aware of where your dominant 7 chords are. So if we're in the key of C and and you've got a G chord, a G major 7 generally won't sound great, but a G11 or a G13 will sound spectacular in there. So look, there's no real workout for that one. It's just increasing that chord knowledge and knowing how the neck works so that you can spice up those chords, add those notes. Another little Neosoul flavor is hammering onto notes in the chords. So that can be any note where you can free up a finger and add it back on. So like, let's look at the old C major 7 I've been playing there. So I'm taking my pinky off to get this D note in there, which is the major 9. If we're playing a C major 9 in that sort of shape, same hammer on using my pinky, but now I'm getting the 6 to 7 in there. You can do 2 at once. So let's say we've got a C major 7 voicing up here. I'm using my thumb over the top. I can hammer on the 6 to the 7 and the 9 to the 10 or 3. Yeah, hammering on within your chords. Another lovely touch is to slide up to another inversion of the same chord and give it a nice bit of a snap and a hammer on. So let's say we've got our C major 9 here. That sort of thing. Just punctuates it, you get that sharper attack from an upstroke and you're extending the voicing of the chord. And finally, 2-5-1s. One of the greatest tools in the kit bag is understanding how to use a 2-5-1. If you've seen some of my other clips, I'll talk about this a little bit. The numbers refer to the different chords that fall within a key. So 2 is the second chord in a key. So if we're in the key of C, D. So a D minor is our second chord in the key of C, and the 5 is the 5th chord, which would be a G. So the easiest way to show you is wherever you want to land, the chord you want to end up on, let's say you want to end up on an E, then you can start on the 2 and go to the 5 and then the 1. So the 2 is some sort of F sharp chord, the 5 is some sort of B7 chord, and the 1 is your target, your E major or minor. F sharp minor 7, B7, B11 to an E major 7. Or if it's minor, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B augmented with a flat 9, E minor 9. You can hear how it works. Just remember that shape. There's your 1, and you can approach it by playing a chord with this note as its root, this note as its root, then we get there. We get home, so to speak. Sweet. So let's see what we've applied to Eleanor Rigby here to dress it up, so to speak. As I said, it's E minor to C. So our melody is like... So that very first bit, A, B, G, E. I'm playing it up here and I'm using the fourths in the E minor pentatonic, the E blues scale. So 14, 14, 12, 12, 12, 12, 14, 14. Sounds amazing. Now I'm doing a double stop bend with that little flourish, that little trill to come out of it. I wasn't using a pick. So we're going to the C chord. The melody is the 13th or the 6th, and I've changed the chord to a major 7. So C major 7 with a 6 on top or a 13 on top. The next bit, I'm playing harmonized shapes out of the scale. So that's a G, E, G. It's just like thirds, but with 2 of the G notes in it. A, F sharp, A, B, G, B. That's it's a 2-5-1. It's a F minor 7 with a flat 5 to a B7 augmented. And now I'm taking the fourths to another level. I'm adding stacked fourths, which means my melody note is here, the A, and those two notes are the same as what I did here. But this time I'm also adding a fourth underneath. Same shape. You could even take that up another string. Ooh, that's rich. I love it. This time I'm using the slide from one bend up to a higher note. Playing G, A, bend, then slide up to the D. Now a little pentatonic, quick little descent. Then the bend with that trill at the end of it. Just a C6 this time. This time in my 251, I've done a tritone substitution. So I've used the same F sharp minor 7 flat 5, but instead of the B flat 7 chord, I've substituted the bass note for a flat 5. So I guess it's the same chord, but over a flat 5. Or you could call it an F9 with a sharp 11 into an E minor 11 for the next bar. That's an A7 over an E bass. So I'm using harmonics for the melody here. Then a funky little bass run. Straight up the blues scale again, the minor pentatonic. Then, so same melody, but I'm just making a funky sort of feel out of it, really. More harmonics. And this time I ended with the string harmonies from the end of that song. Down to the E minor. So it's short and sweet, but hopefully you can see how those little tricks can give you a little bit of the flavour of that style of playing. But look, I really want to make the point that I said at the start, oversimplify, because it's the finesse that someone like Mateus Asato plays with. That's what we're really drawn to. You can learn all the notes and you can learn all the substitutions, but it ain't that easy to sound as beautiful as some of these players. Good luck. Good luck with that.